Hi there, my name is Stacey Goldring, and you're watching this video because you've signed up to participate in the Searching for Identity writing workshop for children, grandchildren, and possibly great-grandchildren of Holocaust survivors. So welcome. And I'm basically going to tell you what to expect in the workshop. So let's go through it. Okay. So the first thing that's going to happen, you're going to come into the workshop and there'll be a facilitator there who I will have urged to start on time. So once you get your coffee or whatever it is, go ahead and take a seat. The first thing that will happen is that he or she will introduce themselves and then go around and ask everyone else to introduce themselves, just first and last name. Then we're going to go over the purpose of the workshop and why you are attending. What is the purpose of the group? If you are a second generation survivor, there's a very likely chance that you're coming to the workshop because you want to tell your parents' story. Obviously, that's for a third gen or a fourth gen too. But what is important to realize is that you are also there to tell your own story in your own voice. And trust me, you have an incredibly important story to tell. So just remember that everything that you write about in the workshop comes from your heart, from your voice, from your perspective, and from your experience. Next, words matter. So everything that you say in the workshop carries great importance. So we ask that everyone be very respectful of everyone else. It is a writing workshop, and you will be asked to write, you'll be asked to read, and you'll be asked to give feedback. So be thoughtful with your feedback. Don't just say, I didn't like your piece. Explain why. We are all there to support one another and become better stewards of the stories that we have to tell. And the best way to do that is get feedback from one another. Next, your participation in the workshop is the greatest gift. Your presence is the greatest gift that you can give the workshop. It is not necessary to write to be a part of the writing workshop, but it is strongly encouraged. And from the experience I have had running these workshops, everyone who's attended has ended up writing. It takes maybe 2 sessions before people recognize that they too are writers. Because even if you've never written before and you're here, I'm telling you right now, you're a writer. You have every right to be here. You have every right, and you're a writer. Lastly, the last thing I believe I'll say in this portion of the workshop is that you will have signed a privacy agreement. Everything that happens in the workshop stays in the workshop. We ask everyone who attend to respect that. So we have a little form you fill out online that lets us know that you agree to abide by the parameters set in the group. After that, let me just go ahead. I have my notes here. So you'll have your welcome, you'll have your introductions. Now the guidelines have been shared. Oh, the last one I should add is always be aware of the time. We want to give everyone a chance to speak. We want to hear from everyone, and obviously we want to hear from you. We want to hear your writing, and we want your feedback. But we have to be aware of the time, and workshops are recommended to last up to 75 minutes. So remember that if you don't get a chance to read or you don't get a chance to offer your feedback, save it for the next workshop. It's an ongoing series that lasts X number of sessions, more than likely 8 or 9 sessions. So you will have an opportunity always to participate in the conversation. The facilitator is aware of the time. We'd like you to be as well, because your words matter. What you have to say is important, and we need to give everyone a chance. Okay, the reason why you're coming is to write and to share these stories. This is a space that offers validation for who you are. the survivors in your family, they have stories that you want to share. The most authentic way for us to understand these stories is if you tell that story in your voice from the perspective of the experiences in your own lives. And that's why this workshop is different from any other writing workshop. This is not a workshop that helps you do step-by-step linear timelines of this is what happened in my family. Of course, the byproduct of the workshop is you will be able to do that. But in this time that happens together, we are looking to document your stories because you are part of history, and you just need to accept that. If you're a second gen, you're now a primary source. If you're a third, fourth gen, you're now a secondary source, and you all have stories to add. So unless we have what you know about your survivorship stories that your family has, we can only have the complete story if we also understand how you came to know those stories. Okay, so you need both parts. Right now we're living in a world where there's one part, which is so important, but in order for that part to have context and understanding and connect to other people, we have to hear it from you. You have to get used to the word I and me. All right, so in this main part of the workshop, which is where you will spend the bulk of your time, someone is going to read a piece. So more than likely you've been, prescribed. You've been assigned a prompt to read in the workshop. So hopefully you've let your workshop facilitator know in advance that you'd like to read and you've submitted your piece. Let's keep it under 2 pages. And if you write more, it can be a paragraph, right? But you can write more, but just bring up to 2 pages to the workshop, again, so we can be respectful of everyone's time. So you bring that piece to the workshop and the facilitator will call on you. You will have the floor. And you read your essay. You take it in. There's a bit of silence. The facilitator will ask for feedback. The facilitator will ask 2 types of feedback. The facilitator will ask how you felt reading the piece and also what the others thought in the group. This is an incredible exchange of ideas because everyone is going to bring their own experience to what they're hearing. Okay, they're going to filter it through their own life experiences. Perhaps they'll say it sounds familiar, or they've never heard that before. Oh my gosh, my entire life I felt the same way. You're going to get all kinds of responses. So be prepared for that. Some people say, I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. It's too formal. It's convoluted. Or some people may say, my God, your piece, it made me, brought tears in my lives. It made me remember another memory. And that will be something you will need to expect participating in the workshop. Writing about memories and hearing other people's memories through the stories that they tell will unlock your own. Okay, so after this exchange of ideas, which will last, like I said, the bulk of the time, the workshop facilitator will bring your workshop to a close. And they will do this by saying, okay, we're going to go ahead now and transition to the wrap, and I'm going to assign the next prompt. And that's when you will have an opportunity to hear what the next prompt is. And if the facilitator has your contact information, that person will go ahead and email the prompt because, we don't expect you to write everything down. This is not homework. It's not an assignment. You're not getting a grade, anything like that. This is an organic, volunteer type of situation. They'll share the prompt with you. And after that, the facilitator will bring the workshop to a close. All right, so I'm just going to summarize once again what to expect in a workshop. You will expect to be welcomed. The purpose of the group will be understood. It will be stated by the facilitator. You will go ahead and give everyone a chance to speak who wants to speak and accept the fact that you've signed a privacy statement, so what happens in the workshop stays in the workshop. You'll always be aware of the time. You'll give feedback to readers who are so brave and will read their pieces, and you will also hopefully read your pieces and be open to the feedback that is given. And it's all a positive experience, because let's say someone says, I couldn't understand your piece. That helps you become a better writer. But 99.9% of the time, the feedback is incredibly, it's uplifting. You will learn. You will become a better storyteller. You will understand yourself better. You will understand others' experiences, and you will support one another. And that truly is the beauty of the group. But do not expect this to be a support group per se, and I'll get to that after I finish up. All right, so after you have your reading, feedback, and discussion section, the facilitator will go ahead and assign next month's prompt, and then they'll close the workshop. So this is what the workshop is not. It is not a support group led by a mental health professional. It is a group it's a community that supports one another through a series of prompts, through an agenda that is structured to respect you and the stories that you have to tell, because your story is incredibly personal and it also has great historical significance. You're coming to the workshop because you want to leave a legacy, you want to educate, or you're doing it for your own self-exploration. So whatever that is, I want to welcome you here, and I'm really excited for you to participate in the Searching for Identity writing workshops for Holocaust survivor families.